No one warns you that when you shine too brightly, you'll make others uncomfortable. That if your kindness has no boundaries, predators will be drawn to you. That if you're honest in a world built on masks, you're going to bleed. But still, you persist. You believe the world values authenticity. You think that being good will protect you, that generosity will open doors, and then it happens. The blow comes out of nowhere. A friend betrays you. A partner takes advantage of your giving nature. A boss uses you and then replaces you like you were never there. You don't even realize when the shift occurred, when you stopped being a person and started being a resource, a stepping stone, a tool. And that's when it hits you. It wasn't because you were weak. It was because you lacked strategy. Machiavelli warned us long ago, those who are good in a world of the cunning become prey. This isn't a celebration of cruelty. It's a wake-up call for the naive. A guide for those who are exhausted from giving everything and receiving nothing. Let's tear down the lie that being good is enough. I want to show you how to keep being light without letting others dim you. But to do that, you first have to face the darkness. Because if you don't understand why people constantly want something from you, you'll never learn how to make that work in your favor. And once you see it, once you truly understand, you won't walk through this world as a victim anymore. You'll move through it as a strategist. Maybe you haven't noticed, but every person who comes close to you is hungry for something. Not always money. Sometimes it's validation, companionship, or that sense of power they get from knowing you'll always be there, no matter what. And without realizing it, you've been giving them everything. Your attention, your time, your compassion, your presence. And the moment you stop, they get upset. Not because you wronged them, but because they'd grown used to using you. It's not always malice. Sometimes it's just human nature. People settle where there's no resistance. They exploit what has no cost. Machiavelli understood this better than anyone. Power isn't just about visible authority. It's about knowing your worth and refusing to give it away for free. But you never measured that worth. You never took inventory of how often you helped people who wouldn't lift a finger for you. And now you feel empty. The problem isn't that you gave. The problem is you never learned when to stop. Want to know who really values you? Set a boundary. Say no just once. Stop being endlessly available. Watch closely. Most won't thank you for all you gave. They'll resent you for what you no longer provide. That's when it becomes clear. Real respect doesn't come from giving everything. It comes from knowing when to say, "That's enough." Machiavelli once said, "It is better to be feared than loved if you cannot be both." He wasn't talking about violence. He meant having boundaries so solid that no one dares cross them. People don't respect those who always say yes. They respect those who act with quiet certainty, who say little but leave an impact, those who can walk away and be missed. In this world, if you don't know how to put a value on what you give, you end up emotionally indebted to everyone, and no one will pay that debt back for you. You've been trying so hard to be seen, to be helpful, to be needed, but the harsh truth? The more available you are, the less you're valued. Remember when you were the one who always answered right away? Who said yes to everything? Who listened to everyone's problems even when no one asked about yours? What did you get in return? Silence, absence, and the cruelest punishment of all, being taken for granted. It hurts because you truly believed that giving everything was enough, that love, friendship, and respect were earned through sacrifice. Machiavelli put it plainly. People forget the death of a father quicker than the loss of their fortune. Harsh but true. People remember more what you gave them than what you endured for them. They remember what they gained from you, not what they cost you. And still you keep giving. You keep waiting. You keep hoping they'll one day see how much you've done. But they won't. Because when you're always there, you become invisible. That's why one of the greatest acts of power is to step back, not as punishment, but as strategy. Silence isn't weakness, it's scarcity. And scarcity creates value. Have you noticed? Those who give the least, who guard themselves more, who make others wait, they seem more valuable. That's because they've learned a simple truth. Attention is not a gift, it's a currency. Want to regain your power? Start treating your presence as a luxury, not something free like tap water. Your time, your energy, your listening, your affection, all of it has value, and the more easily you give it, the less it's worth. This is the game no one taught you. A game where it's not about giving the most, but knowing when and to whom you give. It doesn't reward the most generous. It rewards those who understand their worth and act accordingly. And if you want to become that person, there's a rule you must never forget. Never give everything to someone who hasn't earned anything. Every time you do, you lose a little piece of yourself. And one day, you won't know how to put yourself back together. Machiavelli didn't ask you to be cruel. He asked you to be conscious, to understand that power isn't begged for, isn't shouted, isn't demanded. It's built quietly while others underestimate you. And when the time comes, you act, without warning, without apology. Here's a hard truth that will set you free. You don't need to be liked. You need to be respected. Because affection without respect is possession. It's whim. It's interest dressed up as kindness. And how will you know the difference? It's easy. Say no, and watch who stops calling. Set a boundary, and hear who calls you selfish. Choose yourself, and listen to who says you've changed. That's when you'll know. They never loved you. They just needed you. And while that realization hurts, it grants you a superpower. The power to no longer need everyone to like you. Most people don't want freedom. They want approval. And in the name of being accepted, they give away everything, their time, their peace, their dignity. They silence their truth, live lives that aren't theirs, wear masks just to be tolerated. And for what? A fleeting compliment? A conditional "I love you" based on how useful they are? Machiavelli warned us, people's love is fickle. It's conditional. It disappears in hardship. But respect, once earned, can weather any storm. So ask yourself something bold. Why do so many like you when you're quiet and fear you when you speak? Because the world isn't built for free spirits. It's built for the predictable. And predictability is born of fear. The fear of being disliked, of rocking the boat, of losing connection. But you weren't born to please. You were born to stand tall. If you want others to respect you, start by respecting yourself. Don't give your time to those who won't give it back. Don't explain your value to those who already doubted it. Don't ask permission to be who you are. If someone needs you to justify your worth, they've already made their choice. You're not here to convince anyone. You're here to become someone who cannot be ignored. And that's not done by shouting. It's done by building yourself from the inside out, in silence, without applause, but knowing, deep down, exactly what you're worth. Machiavelli knew it. And now, so do you. It is better to be respected than loved, especially when you can't be both. And no, this isn't about inspiring fear. It's about commanding a presence so strong that others understand you're not easily swayed, not constantly available, and not desperate to please. Respect comes when people recognize boundaries, when your silence carries more weight than loud declarations, when your absence is felt more than your constant presence. True influence arises not from aggression or neediness, but from the quiet power of someone who doesn't chase approval. When you no longer crave affection, you start to grow beyond measure. Real authority doesn't stem from brute strength, intellect, or experience. It's born from self-mastery. In today's world, where everyone reacts instantly to the smallest provocation, control over your emotions is rare and powerful. A single glance, a word, or a comment can shake most people, sending them spiraling into self-doubt. But when you learn to hold your center, to respond rather than react, to observe instead of panic, to wait without begging, that's when real power emerges. No one can fake that. And those who sense it are unsettled, not because you threaten them, but because they can't predict you. Machiavelli once said a man must know how to act both as a beast and a human. Why? Because if you're only rational, you'll be defeated by those who play dirty. And if you're all instinct, you'll be controlled like a wild animal. Real strength lies in balancing the beast and the sage within you. But this balance takes something rare, emotional discipline. When you're betrayed, smile. When you're underestimated, move forward. Every time you hold your ground without exploding, you signal to the world that your power comes from within. The weak shout to feel strong. The powerful remain silent and calculated. Presence isn't about volume, it's not about making noise. It's about the energy you bring into a room, the quiet force that makes others adjust themselves, not because you demand it, but because you don't have to. That's the difference between the fragile and the formidable. The fragile crack under pressure. The formidable sharpen their edges. The fragile seek to be understood. The formidable aim to be undeniable. You're not here to be deciphered. You're here to make a mark so distinct that even those who don't grasp it are forced to respect it. Respect is never requested. It's never begged for. It's provoked by how you carry yourself. Those who can't give it will learn to live without your presence. History wasn't shaped by the purest or the strongest. It was moved by those who stopped asking for permission. There's a monumental difference between merely living and taking your place in the world, between existing and claiming your space. You can spend your whole life waiting to be noticed, to be chosen, to be appreciated. But the world rewards audacity, not patience. As Machiavelli warned, those who rely solely on virtue are overtaken by those who act with strategy. Power isn't about being right, it's about understanding the game. And in this game, the unguarded are devoured, the humble are stripped, and the selfless are drained. Respect doesn't grow from kindness, it grows from the stature you project. And that stature isn't handed to you. You forge it the moment you stop asking for validation, stop tolerating disloyalty, and stop offering yourself freely. Your enemies are already watching. They study your reactions to rejection, your tolerance for disrespect, and how easily you're bent by emotional pressure. Every time you shrink to make others comfortable, they take note. Every time you stay when you should walk away, they learn your limits. Every time you accept what should be unacceptable just to avoid conflict, they gain ground. In the chessboard of power, silence is a move. Every gesture is a tactic. Every boundary defines the life you will or won't tolerate. And if you don't draw the line, someone else will draw it for you. The moment you become unshakable, something shifts. They no longer mock you. They analyze you. They no longer manipulate. You become a variable they can't control. Because the one who no longer fears loss cannot be dominated. The one who doesn't need approval cannot be manipulated. And the one who has stopped begging to be seen becomes impossible to overlook. At some point, every person breaks. And in that break, there is a silence, and in that silence, you make a choice, to stay broken or to rebuild with fire in your eyes. You've already felt it, giving everything and getting nothing back, being loyal and getting abandoned, speaking from your soul and receiving silence in return. But the deepest pain wasn't what others did. It was how you accepted it, how you apologized for feeling. That ends now. Machiavelli didn't write to encourage destruction. He wrote to awaken those who didn't yet know how to protect themselves. If you don't develop strength, you become a tool. If you don't set your value, others will use you and discard you. True peace isn't the absence of conflict. It's the moment when you no longer need the world's validation, because you've built your own kingdom. A kingdom not founded on comfort, but on hard choices. A place not open to everyone. A space where access is earned, where time is sacred, where love isn't begged for, where kindness is reserved for those who recognize its value. Because if you don't value what you give, you'll give away what cannot be replaced. Your energy, your hope, your essence. You're no longer here to be agreeable. You're here to be unshakable, to move with silent strength, to build quietly, without applause. No more justifying yourself, no more waiting for permission. From now on, every step is a statement, every word is a weapon, every boundary is a fortress. Every silence reflects the truth others refuse to face. And you, finally, will be untouchable. Now that you know this, what will you do? Return to the old ways? Apologize for your fire? Fit the mold? Suppress your instincts to avoid offending? Or will you rise? Not with anger, but with clarity. Not to dominate, but to protect your light. Because if you don't shape your power, someone else will harness it for their purpose. You weren't born to be used. You were born to leave a mark so deep it echoes beyond time. So stop waiting for permission. Take what's yours, and if it isn't yet, go out and claim it.